For so many people who are not exposing themselves to new aspects of life, who are not learning new things, it becomes tough to have a catalyst to catalyze your desire.
This is The Deep Dive with Adam Roa.
What is up, Deep Divers? Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Deep Dive podcast. Today, it's just you and I. It's a deep dive musing. And it's specifically about the 5 Ds of artistic transformation. And what I mean by that is in the artistic process, as you've heard me speak about so many times on this podcast, I believe art is a technology. And as artists, when we create art, what it does is it actually becomes the catalyst for our own evolution, our own growth. We have to face off with so much of ourselves, our fears, our doubts, our limitations. We break through those, and the artistic process becomes like a personal development time capsule. And we emerge from it, not only with art, but as a higher, more expanded version of who we're here to be. And so I've broken that process down into 5 Ds, which I will describe to you in detail. Ooh, describe in detail. See what's happening right now? We're flowing here. And before that, I do that, I want to invite you into a deeper level of support for this podcast. We are actively working on improving the algorithms for this podcast. And the way that gets done is if you subscribe and like and follow the podcast. So if you have not done that yet, it would mean the world to me if you take the 10 seconds on whatever platform you're listening on, or even if you want to do it on all of them, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, hit that subscribe button, that follow button. It would mean a lot. It makes a big difference. So thank you in advance for doing that. Now, going back into today, we have 5 Ds to the artistic transformation journey. And I'm going to tell this to you through the lens of how I created my first ever song. My first ever song that I ever wrote, which is called Chase Me. And believe it or not, it just came out. Not the version that it is the version I originally wrote, but it's done electronically. It's out now on any streaming platforms, including Spotify. If you haven't listened to it yet, I would even take a moment now to pause this podcast and go just listen to the song, so you know what I'm referencing. And the song is called Chase Me. It's a love song. I'm singing in it, like full blown singing in it. And it feels like you're riding this roller coaster through the cosmos. And it's beautiful. I'm so proud of it. It's out now. And how I wrote that song is I was in Thailand by myself, and I decided to do 5 days of silence. This was not a retreat or anything organized. This was just Adam saying, I don't want to talk for 5 days. But I'm going to allow myself to sing and play the guitar. And so through those parameters, I'd set the context for what would eventually become my first ever song, Chase Me. And before I get into that process, I want to tell you what those 5 Ds are so that you have them right up front and you can follow along with me. They are 1, desire. Desire. 2, doubt. 3, determination. 4, discovery. And 5, delight. And for me, this first step, the desire, happened when sitting here in Thailand. It was the end of the year. And so one of the things I like to do at the end of the year is go through my journals, all the journals that I've kept throughout the year, because there's usually 2 of them, maybe 3 of them that I've had. And as I was reviewing, I got to a place where I had these notes that had been taken from about song structure. Because my partner at the time has been writing songs for so many years, and she had given me these notes on song structure. And as I looked at that, I went, I've never written a song. I got nothing to do. I'm here on this tiny island, not talking at all. Why don't I try and write a song? And there was this catalyst for my desire, right? It was seeing the song structure and wanting it. And that's a really important thing, because for so many people who are not exposing themselves to new aspects of life, who are not learning new things, it becomes tough to have a catalyst to catalyze your desire. Oftentimes, the desire to create comes from learning something new or experiencing something new. So if in this artistic transformational journey, if you want to kickstart it, be someone who is consistently learning, be someone who is consistently trying new things, and you will be surprised at how often you feel that desire to create. And so here I am with this desire to create in Thailand. And then comes step 2, which is doubt. Doubt is a part of the process. It doesn't matter how long you have been in it, how long you've been a creator, how long you've been an artist. If you're a professional or if you're just beginning, doubt is a part of the process. Every single time I go to create a poem, every single time I go to create a film, I feel doubt. And especially with something new, like in Thailand, when I was going to write my first ever song, I had tons of doubt come up. I had the part of me that said, you're not a good enough guitar player to be able to play and sing at the same time. You're not a good enough singer for this to even be worth the while, because even if you wrote the song, you're not going to be able to sing it. You don't know how song structure even works. You have some notes here, but there's no one here. You're by yourself. There's no way that you're going to be able to learn it on your own. And so that doubt becomes the curriculum for your expansion. And this is the part of the process that I think where most people stop. Most people experience that doubt and they say, well, I'm going to give into the doubt and the fear, and I'm going to stop this process now. And that leads us to our third step, which is determination. In order to get through the doubt, you step into determination. And that determination is where you put in the work. For me in Thailand, writing this song, Chase Me, what that looked like was I started listening to music and trying to identify the song structure. Literally the same songs I'd been listening to for years on my playlist. And shameless plug, if you didn't know this, I have a bunch of playlists of my favorite music that has inspired me over the years that is available on Spotify. So if you are looking for cool new music in different genres, check out my playlists. And you can just search me, Adam Roa, and my artist page, and you'll see the playlist listed there. That's where it is. And I was going through these playlists, and I was paying attention to, here's the bridge. Here's the chorus. Here's the hook. Here's the verse. And just starting to note, this song has this structure. This song has this structure. And I would step into practicing the guitar with different chord progressions to see what I liked. And that was this determination to teach myself and learn, okay, this is where I get to overcome my doubts. Every single part of us that has doubt. So in creating a song, there may be 5 or 6 different areas that I have doubt. Awesome. My determination gets to be put into each of those areas. And so from a tangible perspective, if you are in this artistic journey, it can be helpful for you when you're creating to identify where your actual doubt lies so that you can apply your determination to those areas and make sure that each one is covered. And from that doubt, when you add that determination in, you step into the 4th step, which is discovery. Discovery. And for me, writing Chase Me, the discovery process was in exploring chord progressions on the guitar. That was the first part. Then finding those chord progressions. And then finding melody that I liked. I'd never done this before. So actually finding melodies that felt good to me. And then once I found those, writing the lyrics. And then the discovery process after writing the lyrics was, how can I sing this in a way that sounds good with my voice? This is really important. This is a huge one because I thought that you could either sing or you couldn't. That you were just someone who was born with it or not. What I learned was actually by just learning how my voice works, I can find a way to sing this because there's an infinite variety of ways. If you gave the same song to 10 different people, they're going to sing it 10 different ways. I learned for myself how it worked for my voice. And that led me into the 5th step, which is delight. Delight. And the delight was when it all comes together, when it all comes together and all of a sudden I'm able to actually play it all the way through. And then specifically when I was able to share it with the woman that I wrote this song about, I remember coming back and how nervous I was and my palms were sweaty. I was like, I don't even know if I can play the guitar. My palms are so sweaty. And I could feel my throat like constricting because of the nerves and going, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to sing it. And my voice shaking. But I said, I'm committed. I'm committed. I'm going to do this. And the delight in sharing it, which is the part of me now that I'm experiencing so much, is the delight in making music, because in that music making process, we delight in the discovery, what we've discovered about ourselves, right? When we go through all this whole process, when we have the initial desire, then when we have those doubts, and then our determination overcomes those doubts, and then we start to discover new aspects of what we can do, we delight in those new aspects. That is the expansion of consciousness. It's the expansion of who you are. By discovering those new aspects and then delighting in them, you embody them, you embrace them, you integrate them into your being. And in so doing, you've gone through a transformation process using art as a technology. And by the way, you don't have to be a professional artist. You don't have to do this in order to create art that you're intending to publish anywhere. This is about using the artistic process, the journey of creation and your creative energy to discover more of who you are, to become an expanded version of yourself that you delight in and therefore bring more of to the world. This process has completely transformed my life. It is why I am so passionate about speaking to it. And it's the process that I go through every time I create a song. From my first 2 songs, Voices and Go, to my newest one, Chase Me, which just came out. And every film, every lyric video, every single piece of art that I create, I go through this 5D journey. Look at that. I just put that together for the first time. It's a 5D journey. It's the expansion. It's the elevation of ourselves from 3D consciousness to 5D consciousness. I love that. Look at that discovery. And can you tell there's delight? This is the journey. I hope it's been helpful, because the awareness of that journey can let you lean into each of those steps more tangibly and create more ease and grace, so that you flow through that process, you expand, and you arrive in a more elevated version of who you're here to be each and every time. I want to remind you that always, in all ways, you are seen, you are heard, and you are loved. If you've gotten a lot of value out of this, please share it out on social media. Let your friends and family know about this podcast so that they can be expanding alongside you. Blessings.